Hello. Today I'm again talking about the Beatitudes from the Sermon on the Mount that Jesus gave to his close disciples. And these are instructions for us to live by. And this one says, "Blessed are ye when men shall revile you and persecute you and say all manner of evil against you falsely for my sake. Rejoice and be exceeding glad, for great is your reward in heaven. For so persecuted they the prophets which were before you." And Swami Kriyananda's commentary based on the teachings of Paramhansa Yogananda. "Blessed are you when your awareness of the truth is tested by the misunderstandings of others, born of their spiritual ignorance. For only by placing truth above human opinions shall you attain wisdom. Great though your tests appear to you today, they are the price of admission into the company of saints." This is so beautiful because oftentimes as we work with these yogic principles, these ideas and attitudes for right living and right understanding, our friends and family can definitely misunderstand us. We don't want to go out late partying and drinking and dancing and having lots of wild fun. And our friends and relatives may wonder, well, why not? Why don't you? Are you too good to spend time with us? Are you too holier than thou or any of that? And the simple truth is, I like to go to bed early so I can get up and meditate in the morning because meditation helps me and I can't live without it. And lesser things like drinking and dancing and partying, I just can't do that late at night. Maybe we can party in the afternoon. But anything like drinking that diminishes my awareness, I don't want that in my life. So when we stand up for these ideas and ways of being, we can get a lot of flack from people. And even on the spiritual path, people who live in community and purport to be yogis and are meditators, still they can have faults. They can enjoy gossiping, for example. I had a dear friend years ago who just had an issue with that, and she loved to talk negatively about people. And it was all I could do to still be her friend, and we were co-workers. I had to be around her. But I felt like a ping pong player, just trying to volley back negativity with positivity, trying to counter every negative sentiment with something joyful and uplifting, and trying to steer the conversation into a positive avenue. It was not easy. And I did my best to not have to be around that as much as I could. But as I say, we were co-workers and it was extremely difficult. And she may well have been disappointed and irritated by my ping pong playing, but it was the best that I could do under the circumstances. And she may have reviled me, I'm sure, since she talked about everyone in my hearing no doubt she talked about me as well, which is important to remember when you're in a little gossip fest with a friend. If they're talking about others, you can believe that they talk about you behind your back as well. And Yogananda was very firm about how destructive to the gossiper having that kind of energy is on the spiritual path. And we should really fight that in every way that we can. It's very important to stand by the truth, even if others revile you and persecute you. Stand by the truth, and that righteousness will stand you in good stead. Rejoice and be exceeding glad, for great is your reward in heaven. And that heaven is what we carry around with us, that portable paradise that Yogananda said we have to cultivate. So know that even though it's difficult not to gossip, it's difficult to do all the things on the spiritual path that we're told are for our benefit. Sri Yukteswar said we need to learn to behave, and this is how we do it. We rally our forces and we refuse to dive into negativity. We have to stand firm. And, now that we're back in lockdown again because of the COVID virus, it's easy to get bored. It's easy to spiral down into emotional binge eating and emotional binge watching videos and let our posture slump figuratively and literally. We just get sinking lower and lower into the couch with empty bags of potato chips and soda cans and the TV blaring. Don't go there. And if you're there already, lift yourself up. Get out the door. Go exercise. Rake the leaves in the yard. Put fertilizer on the garden and plant fruit trees and do whatever inspires you. Find that one little thing out of the whole mess that can be inspiring, and nurture that inspiration and keep it going and feed it and water it and have it grow. Keep yourself busy. Keep yourself creative. You don't get anywhere by sinking deeper into the couch. Do what is right. You know in your heart what those things are, and put out energy. Great is your reward in heaven. So persecuted they the prophets which ever went before you. If you read the lives of the saints, and that is an excellent thing to do while we're in lockdown, read the lives of the saints and the prophets. They were all persecuted. Saint Joseph of Cupertino had this uncomfortable way of levitating, and his spirit was so buoyant, his consciousness was so high, his heart was so joyful that he just lifted right off the ground. And he was a Catholic. This was extremely embarrassing for the Catholic Church. None of their other priests and monsignors and bishops and cardinals and popes were levitating. And here was this humble monk who was up around the ceiling, so joyful and blissful and in the Spirit of God. Well, they would sneak him off in the middle of the night and hide him out in some remote monastery because people were always clamoring to see him. They wanted his advice, they wanted his darshan, they wanted his blessing. So he was very much persecuted during his lifetime. And there's a story that I love just to close. There was a Lutheran, and he wanted to debunk this ridiculous story of some monk who's levitating. That's just absurd. So he finally got an interview with St. Joseph of Cupertino, and he was all set to just tell this guy off. Well, Joseph knew exactly what was in this man's heart and mind, and so as soon as he walked in the room, Joseph grabbed his hands, and together they went up to the ceiling, levitating, and this Lutheran man was able to experience it for himself. He was flying around up at the ceiling. And when they came down, it was said that this man went up a Lutheran, but he came down a Catholic. So realize that it may be difficult what you're going through, the tests that you have in your life, the people who are around you, who are around you, who don't understand you, who make life miserable for you. Everyone has that in their lives in one way or another. Know that all of your tests have been designed by God, your loving Father, to help you to overcome those things that need overcoming in your consciousness. Your tests are tailor-made just for you so that you can learn to have that courage of the heart, that strength of heart. That's what courage means. Cultivate that in yourself. Live by that, and you will find more and more freedom, more and more joy, more and more love in your life. God bless you.